Hello, I'm Anthony Owen from the Arkansas Department of Education. I serve as the State Director of Computer Science Education. I'm here today with some distinguished guests from your cohort out there in Arkansas, and glad that they're here, and we're going to have a conversation with you all today about the Computer Science Initiative in Arkansas, and just so glad that, that the guests were able to join me to bring their perspective and help us answer some common questions that we're having from the field. So directly to my right here, I have Dr. Mark Gocher. And I'm going to ask each of them to introduce themselves a little bit, a little further. I have Ms. Karma Turner and Mr. Greg Wartenberger. So we'll go back with Dr. Gocher first. And Dr. Gocher, if you can just share with the audience a little bit about your role in Arkansas and your title, where you work, and what you do, I'd appreciate it.
Great, thank you, Anthony. Mark Gocher, Superintendent of Russellville School District currently, but I have been in education for 28 years. Prior to my time as Superintendent of Russellville, I was Deputy Commissioner at the Department of Education, where I had the privilege of meeting you and had the opportunity to see the Computer Science Initiative by our governor in its infancy. And so I worked closely with Anthony and began to see just as it began to expand and the wonderful opportunities that we have for our students and our teachers and community. So that's my connection with computer science, and then my role as superintendent. And I'll talk more a little bit about that and what I'm seeing in the transition as a role of the superintendent from the department.
Great, thank you. Ms. Karma Turner.
Carmen Turner. I teach computer science to 8th through 12th grade students at Lake Hamilton School District. I taught math for over 20 years, and when the opportunity came up to teach computer science, I was given that opportunity, and I'm glad I did. My background from college is in computer science, so it's been a whirlwind learning all of these new things again, but it's been fun and exciting as well.
And Mr. Greg Wartenberger.
Greg Wartenberger. I'm a science specialist for the Bryant School District, and came from a middle school science background, teaching for about 6 years in the Bryant School District, and then served as a state science specialist through the STEM Center at Henderson State University. And now that I'm back in my role at Bryant as science specialist, I've enjoyed really learning a lot. I got to attend some of the state computer science training last summer to learn about the integration of those standards K-8 through our other subject areas. Found that training very beneficial. So especially in my role now in supporting teachers in all disciplines in our district with supporting computer science education. So.
And if I'm not mistaken, even though you're not in the classroom, you went through the trouble of going back and becoming fully CS endorsed, did you not?
I did. I got to go to that 5-day boot camp training last summer, and it was very rigorous training, but very valuable. I wanted to be exposed to what that praxis would entail if I had teachers in my district who were interested in gaining that endorsement, so I could kind of tell them from firsthand experience what to expect from the training and then also from the praxis. I can say I would not have been successful without that training experience, so I highly recommend that for teachers who are considering that endorsement.
Well, great. And glad that you're all able to join me again here. And you know, it wouldn't be an educational meeting unless we had a presentation to go along with it. So we're going to talk a little bit about our objectives of this session. Please feel free to, if you feel like the people who are watching this video might have a question from your perspective or another perspective that you see or need more information, please feel free to interject, and so we can get that information out there. That's what this session is about. It's not just about me standing up and presenting information to the state. This is, y'all are representative of a dialogue between the department and the people out in the field.
That's
so
right.
So I hope that's what comes across in this video to the individuals watching it. But some of our objectives of this session, if we want to go to the presentation, is that we want to be able at the conclusion of this training, we want the participants to be able to articulate the benefits that an appropriate level of CS education can have on students, families, and communities. And throughout the tenure of this initiative, we have focused on that appropriate level. Computer science, and I think that's one thing that we keep trying to say out there in the field, and a confusion that we keep trying to eradicate, is that we're not asking every student to become a programmer. They don't need to be, okay? But they're, as y'all are aware, in you know, having the knowledge that you have about computer science and what we're trying to extend to our classrooms across the board is that computer science is mathematics in a digital format. It's problem solving in a digital format, and sometimes it's not even digital. There are a lot of unplugged activities we'll get into in a second. But that is key to this entire initiative, that every student out there has some appropriate level of computer science education that they can learn. And guess what? As y'all know, programming is just a small portion of computer science overall. We also want our participants to be aware of the current K-12 state level computer science requirements, including our licensure requirements for district schools and teachers. You know, this is a big one. This is typically what people see ADE's purpose is to help inform schools and teachers of what are our requirements, what are we supposed to do, what are we not supposed to do. And you know, while we do that, the requirements are pretty clear on computer science. It's, I want us to move away, a shift away from what are the requirements to what are the benefits. And though we're going to share some of the information about the requirements, I want us to continue to revert back to going beyond the requirements, going beyond the base, the minimum that we expect of our schools or are required of our schools, into what benefits your local community in Russellville.
That's right.
What benefits Lake Hamilton? What benefits Bryant? And I live in Bryant, so I'm very interested in that.
Very invested, right?
We also want our participants to be able to articulate an understanding and the implications of our CS Flex Credit and CS Pathways. I think the Flex Credit we've put out a lot of information about, and we'll talk extensively about that here in a little bit. The Pathways question under the Career Education and Department of Education and that married environment, so to speak, is still a little unclear out there in the field, and we want to clarify that today. And we also want our participants to be able to locate on our website the standards and courses, resources, how to find resources, our fact sheet. I will tell y'all, and y'all know this, that probably 90% of the questions I get emailed to my office, I open that fact sheet and I cut and paste from it my answer that is responded to the individuals. That fact sheet is something that my office created, and it is our go-to information. And don't print it though, bookmark it. And other pieces of information, vital pieces of information related to our state initiative. In addition, we want our participants to be aware of the diversity gaps prevalent in computer science education, not just computer science education, but really STEM in general nowadays. But they're really prevalent in computer science education in both education and industry. And we want to help them find resources to overcome or assist in overcoming those gaps. In addition, we want our participants to be aware of our state support structures that are in place. Arkansas has provided significant funding to the CS education movement. We have allocated more money than any state in the nation. Not any state of the same size, any state in the nation. So Governor Hutchinson has said that he wants the majority of our resources going to supporting teachers, and that's what they're going toward. And so we want our teachers and our educators to realize that those support structures are out there. We have a network of statewide CS specialists. We have CS-oriented professional development that is centralized and common across the state. That was one of the big issues that I wanted my CS specialists to key in on, is that we did not have disjuncted professional development in one area versus another area. How to sign up for our state CS listserv. I know people hear listservs, and we have some listservs in the state that serve their purpose, but they're single directional from the department. Our CS listserv is an active environment. Sometimes I get complaints that it's too active, but I don't believe in that. I think that our community needs to discuss, and there's no such thing as teachers talking too much to each other across the state. And where to find information on potential grants. That's always a question.